following program makes use of copywritten material as part of a psychological examination of music. All music copyrights remain property of their respected creators.
Hey kids, if there's one thing in life that I've learned is that our bodies are a vehicle, and we should have as much fun as we possibly can while we're in them. Because one of these days, we're just going to turn into food for the bugs. But you already know this, man. I don't need to tell you anything new. But what you need to know is that if you want to express yourself and put some color on that sweet, sexy body of yours, get yourself over to Effin' Classy now. Located at 2804 Lake Road, Suite 5, Tuesday through Saturday, 3 to 11 p.m., 936-435-9300. They put so much work and so much love into their work, it is uncomparable to anywhere else. And the best thing about these guys is they fix cheap tattoos, okay? I went to this one place and with the intention of getting a self-portrait of my son on my chest. Afterwards, I didn't even recognize the guy. I didn't think he was my son, okay? So I went somewhere else, and I got a portrait of my best friend, John, giving me a thumbs up. And you know what? I regret nothing. Visit their website, effinclassy.com, for special deals and updates. This show is also brought to you by
Generations Salon. Generations is Huntsville's premier salon. Their staff has over a decade of experience in haircutting, styling, color, and more. With their fingers on the pulse of modern styling trends and a solid foundation in classics you love, their salon truly is the salon for all generations. They recently moved their location to 2804 Lake Road, Suite 2. All their chemical services include a cut and style at no additional cost. Single process starts at $50, full highlights at $75. Schedule an appointment today by calling 936-755-8200. Generation Salon is where you can be your own kind of beautiful.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Today's episode, we had our very special friend, Alexys Akey, over, and we were going to do a showcase on a particular band called Apocalyptica, but after talking with her, talking with John, we decided let's broaden the spectrum a little bit more, and let's talk about the underdog of the music world, the forgotten dog of the music world, strings. Stringed instruments,
quartets,
symphonies, all of that good stuff. And we got to listen to some really good music, and we got to talk about her experiences in being a cello player, a very gifted one, whether what she thinks it or not. She's the most amazing cello player in the world, because I said so, and you're going to think so as well, goddamn.
I already believe it.
And then we went into a little bit more of how this kind of music was essential in our friendship growing up, and how we were going to go see a band coming up, and all in all, it was a very special episode to all of us, and it was a great pleasure having her with us. So, on that note, Johnny, my love, take us there.
Welcome to the Conversationalists.
That's not attractive enough whenever you're listening to music. You gotta look like,
right.
Oh shit, this is so intense.
That's right.
Are you that way whenever you listen to music?
No, I'm the dance.
Please go next to the microphone so we can hear you talk.
No.
Yeah,
I'm gonna mime the whole show. I hope that's okay.
Okay. Shit, I'm not even ready for this. I want to go ahead and just say it right off the bat. I am very happy that you're here with us today, Alexys.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I know you had to take a long trip to get here, but appreciate you being here.
It's worth it.
He didn't use your opener, man.
Yeah, I know, because you convinced me that they're just twist-offs, and I was convinced that they weren't, and then I did it for myself, and I was like, oh, it's just a twist-off, because I have the thing. I have the bottle
really
opener.
Any excuse to use the bottle opener. I think if you're going to spend money on a bottle opener, you got to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to use that for everything.
Exactly. But now that I know the truth, I don't use it. Anyways, clinking.
All right.
Clinking.
Mazel tov. So
that's delicious.
When we were thinking about the show that we wanted to do today, initially we wanted to go with do a showcase on a band that we know very well, Apocalyptica, and we kind of talked about it some more, and realized that it would probably be a little bit better if we dove into it on a wider spectrum, and we broke it down for that style of music, stringed instrument, like cellos, violas, violins, fiddles,
stand-up bass.
I was just gonna say double bass. Yeah.
And you being, well, first off, you being my bestie for life, and the fact that you're the only human being I know that plays an instrument like that, that made you perfect to bring you on here for this. Before we dive into anything crazy, you play the cello.
Yeah, briefly.
When did you get into it?
I was about 18.
Yeah?
Most kids start when they're like 8.
Uh-huh.
And our little town doesn't offer a whole lot in that area. But I went to a concert, and it was actually a rock concert, and this guy pulls out a cello, and I was like, oh, man, what is this? He's going to ruin it. And so he started playing, and that was it for me. I was like, I have to play that instrument.
Right. Do you remember what concert, who it was?
Yeah, it's I-9. God, what was the guy's name? Brian Gibson. They were only around for a short period of time because the singer kind of gave up, which was really sad. Mm-hmm. But they were opening for Pat Monahan, the guy who did Train.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
But they were totally different. It was more
I remember.
rock.
Weren't you into that band for a while?
She was into that band. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's bad. That's not good.
Yeah, you're
Yikes.
with people that kind of know you, so.
Yikes! I think we're around the 10, 11, 12 year mark that we've all
Probably,
kind of
yeah.
known each other, sort of ish.
Probably. But there's
Yikes.
still things regarding you and your path with music and cellos and that style that I still don't know a lot about that I wish I did. You were saying that, how people usually take up an instrument when they're young. And usually people say that, if you have kids, if you find your kid is, playing in the kitchen with the pots and the pans,
right,
they're going to turn into a music prodigy. They're going to play drums or something like that,
Right, absolutely.
They always say get them while they're young. And
that's why I respect Joe Jackson.
Oh, with the Jacksons. But I think it still says something that if you don't start it right off the bat when you're a kid and you find it later on in your adult life, it kind of says something about you as a person where like you kind of have to work for it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes if it comes natural to you, it's just like a cakewalk, But like if you have to like put effort and work into it and take lessons and learn, and it's like there's kind of some like it's kind of like fucking working really hard and getting like that big paycheck at the very end of the week. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
Like,
You have to work for it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely did not come naturally to me at all. I was very much kind of like stuck on stupid, if you will. Like I could not get
the
it.
Alexys Akey autobiography, Stuck on Stupid.
Pretty much. That would sum up my life, But no, yeah, I had to put a lot of effort into that, and it was kind of funny. We had a lady. She had raised like 6 kids. She had adopted and raised 6 kids, and now she was like 54, and she was like, I'm gonna go back to school for music therapy, and she decided to play the cello, and so me and her were like trying to work really hard together, whereas we were surrounded by all these kids playing these big concertos, and we're over here with our little bitty pieces, and
right.
So it was interesting.
So did you start while you were still in high school, or once you went to Sam that you started playing?
I started playing when I was in high school.
Okay.
I actually found a place down in Conroe, which is about, for those of you who don't know, like a 45 minute ride from my house out in the country, probably an hour. Mm-hmm. I found a place that would give me cello lessons, and but for the most part, I'd started off teaching myself, and then when I got to Sam, I was finally able to take real legit lessons.
Right, and you had messed around on like the guitar beforehand, right?
Yeah.
So did it feel too different going from like one stringed instrument to another instrument? I mean, because I know it's kind of a big from a guitar to a fucking cello. It's probably a big difference, but like you have the same kind of body and strings and fretboard and not a fretboard.
You're kind of set up the same way versus it's just kind of going from horizontal to vertical. Whereas if you try and play the piano, it's both of your hands straight out in front of you.
Right.
Did you have an SG?
I think it was a knockoff, like Gibson SG. Like
it's an Epiphone. Don't talk too horribly about it. It's still my baby. I still have that same guitar.
That's amazing.
I still have it. Just put new strings on it.
Epiphone is actually a really good brand. Actually.
No, yeah. I didn't mean to call it a knockoff. I didn't mean to offend.
Whatever.
Now, if you had like a first act or like some like real cheap shit that you get at Walmart, then
that's exactly.
Then
what
I was
gonna
like,
say.
you can kindly leave. Just take a cookie and leave. You know? But no, I think that's cool. Like, I mean, I know I got into playing music when I didn't start until I was probably 13. Whenever I started playing the bass guitar, and I thought I knew what I was doing until I got with other people, and I was like, I don't know shit. I don't know nothing about the bass guitar until I like just sat in my room for hours and hours and hours and was like figuring out what went with what and where everything was supposed to go or lead to, and then it all made sense, you know. So that's why I think it's cool that even though you started later on in life with the cello, you know, it was something that you were like real hard. I mean, you have a tattoo of a cello on your belly, you know what I mean? So I mean, I have Thug Life written on my belly, but you got a cello on yours.
I thought you had Hug Life.
I'm all about that hug life. Oh man. So what were like the first bands, or like okay, not bands, but like what was like the first kind of music that you heard that had, you know, like those strings in them? Like, was it just straight up like orchestra, like classical music that you?
No, that's I think one of the reasons that I really got drawn into it was because it was outside the box. Whenever I saw the cello being played with a rock band, you know, I saw it. I was like, oh, that's a classical instrument. How's this going to work? What is that?
Right.
And, you know, of course, I was still young, like 17, I want to say, something like that.
Yeah.
17, 18. So, but whenever I started listening to a lot of the bands, first I was obsessed with that band in particular because I could really hear, you know, I'd seen them live, so I could really hear it. And then I started noticing like One Direction, not One Direction, my gosh.
What?
Not One Direction.
You listened to that shit before they even existed?
No, One
man.
Republic. No.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. Close enough. No, but they had a cello, and I just started, like, just different songs. It started popping up, and I started noticing. I was like, oh, duh. Yeah. That's really awesome. And then I got into Apocalyptica, like, right after
We'll definitely dive into that later in the show. One thing that I always liked about stringed instruments in general is, like, you can hear a song that was just, like, a typical, like, rock song, for example.
Right.
And then you would kind of hear the strings kind of come, like, creep in from the back.
Right.
And it wasn't like in the forefront with like your, you know, the standout instruments, guitars, drums, vocals, whatever, but it was kind of in there, and you heard it just good enough that you could, it kind of added like something, like a little bit of extra bit to the song.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like the main piece to the song, and there was like no huge deal about it, but it was just like it's there, you know, and it just sort of finds its way in there just to add. It's almost like a synthesizer sounds or like keyboard or whatever. Like it may not be the biggest thing about the song, but it's in there and you can find it and you can appreciate it a little bit more. But then you find songs that are just all straight up,
yeah,
you know, violins or cellos or whatever, and you can appreciate it a little bit more, I guess, because sometimes those instruments are kind of held in the background, or you know, I don't know if they're considered cool. Like you were saying before, like you saw it and you're like, oh, they're gonna ruin.
Yeah.
You know, like
right.
It's hard to, until we get to Apocalyptica, it was hard to look cool with the cello.
But you'd still look original, and I think, you know, I mean, at least with
me
as a
yeah,
listener,
definitely. I mean,
I like very original things. Like even if I don't like it, I'll at least be able to really be aware of my interest in the fact that they're different.
Yeah.
And they're doing their own thing. What I was going to say is I think that any instrument that's got a bow generally adds a whole different dimension to the music, because you've got another factor on top of the tone, on top of the note. You've got that I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just the way that it comes off, man. It's the whole entire dimension of the speed of how fast you're going or what direction you're going with that bow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of what sets that apart from the music we generally listen to.
Yeah. And what you were saying before about just like cellos like coming off more as original, like if we were to go into like if Caldies still existed, we went to a coffee house or whatever, and there was open mic, you see someone come out with a guitar and sing, you know, heartfelt stuff, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. But you see someone coming out, bust out a cello, and you see them just going to town on it, It was
Right.
like I did not see that coming. Like this, there's something aesthetically pleasing about seeing like that instrument, but still, I think it's hard for it to come off as like the cool instrument. Like if you were to put a cello next to the long-haired, leather pants guitar solo kind of guy, yeah, they'd probably just ask, take your cookie and leave.
I think that's what they did with Apocalyptica.
I don't know, man. We'll get into that in a second. So when we were getting ready to do the show, you suggested some bands. I asked you to give us a little help with suggest some bands to us, because really, aside from Apocalyptica, like this is kind of like a style, like a genre of music that, aside from like what I grew up listening, not saying I grew up listening to it, but like hearing orchestras and hearing symphonies, I remember they had like a Sirius radio station where it was just nothing but like Beethoven, and then you put it in the background just to have something pleasing, like something nice to hear while you're
elevator music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's still an unknown style of music to me. I asked you to give us some bands. And I checked them out. I don't know if you checked them out because I sent them to you as well.
I just saw Rasputina. I'm like, we're gonna do some Rasputina.
Well, no, I didn't know.
I played like a few songs from Rasputina, like Transylvanian Concubine's the only one I remember.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then like that's in my head right now actually. But then I saw that they did a Manson cover, and I'm like, oh yeah, and that's my favorite song right now, the Tourniquet.
Oh yeah.
That was friggin' beautiful because. The one thing is, I mean, I don't know how many stringed instruments they have. I just know that 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3 cellists.
The rest of the music I like though as well, like the electronic drums and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't really know if that fits exactly with the rest of the things that we're going to be talking about, but I'm just saying I dig that song, man.
It's funny that you're saying this because I sent you the list that she sent me. And then all you sent back was Rasputina.
Yeah.
And I took it as, and this is like the bad thing of text message, I took it as like what, really? Like there's a band called Rasputina? Like, I thought he was like joking around with me or whatever. So whenever we were listening to it before the show, I was like, I guess you dig Rasputina? I don't know.
Yeah, I dig Rasputina, man.
I dug it for the most part. The couple songs that I did listen to, I enjoyed. I think I saw that there is like this weird look. It's like a girl that's in it. Obviously.
Yeah, the main girl. She does all of like the composing and the writing and lyrics and everything for them. They've got a very quirky. I guess
that's what I was about to say. Like
a very quirky style to their music.
Like, there's one song that I can't remember the title of it, but there was one song in particular that I heard. Maybe it was the Transylvania, whatever one that he's talking about. And I really enjoyed it, but then I listened to another one, and it was very, like, bouncy, quirky, kind of, like, borderline annoying, but it was sort of, like, I don't know this artist well enough to know where she's trying to go with this, but I guess if this is, like, her personality and it's coming out in musical form, totally I respect it.
What you get? We listened to that song, and then you were like, it reminds me of something. I forgot what it was.
Fiona Apple.
Yeah, you said Fiona Apple, and that was interesting because I wasn't exactly sure what you meant by that, but I connected with that, and I was like, "Yeah, Fiona Apple." I don't know why.
You immediately agreed with me without
thinking about why. I think we both came to the conclusion that it's just like that feeling, like that slumpy, dirty feeling.
Yeah, totally. Like Fiona Apple's music.
That's sort of
like,
alternative.
Yeah, it had very much like that one song. I've been a bad criminal. Yeah. Kind of like just that dirty, sluggish kind of weird feeling to it, and with the cello is kind of like going, kind of like this weird like waving. Yeah.
And that's what I love, man.
Yeah, it gave it like it gave it all of its character that it needed to convey what it was trying to do, and that's the crazy thing that I feel that string instruments can do. I think any instrument can add character to a song. It can make or break a song, but there's something that a cello or a violin that they can do to really like take it to like it's almost like taking a modern song and like trying to take it back in time a little bit, like especially whenever I hear like cello groups or like quartets covering songs, and this is something I kind of want to dig into with you because a lot of the music that we were listening to before you sent those bands, all we could really find was like these quartets, these groups of people that were like covering modern day songs.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of them try to do. I mean, one of the things I like about Rasputina, she does cover some stuff, but a lot of the time it's really original, and she's all over the spectrum. Like, some of her songs will be, like, really dark and depressing, and then other songs are just, like you said, like, that one's, like, kind of, like, poppy and almost annoying. She can move a lot, and some people call her, like, a good portion of her music, like, Victorian era.
I can
like,
see that.
back in the day kind of feel.
I definitely, going back to what I was saying about, like groups that cover songs, go ahead. It's safe to eat them. There was one that you sent me. Was it 440 Alliance? Yeah. They do a cover of "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey.
Does it have that fat bass line in it? Because that's all I give a shit about that song.
No, but like the very beginning, the dun 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 dun. You know, like that whole thing going on. Hearing that with cellos. It was like, this feels like how it was supposed to sound. Like,
it's the original, man.
It's the epicness.
Yeah, and then having like the higher notes do the vocal, just a small town girl. You know, like, it was like, this feels like we're supposed to be in some courtyard, like, curtsying and shit. Like, I don't know.
I think that actually reminds me of, like, what was that? I think it was maybe The Wedding Singer.
I was just about to say that.
Oh, my God.
What was it that they were playing?
I think it was
that song, yeah. In The Wedding Singer, they were just playing that on the cello.
That's why I connected with it, because I remembered the damn movie.
Because you knew it was right. And that was perfect.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But there's a few other quartets.
I actually bought a CD a while back for like 90-something cents at Hastings. I don't know why. But it's the string tribute to Lamb of God. It's a quartet. Right, I don't have it anymore. The disc itself. I've just got the case left. I don't know what happened to the CD, unfortunately.
No.
It was pretty amazing though, I'd have to say, yeah. A quartet of Lamb of God songs. Like, actually, I wasn't thinking of getting anything like that or spending any money that day at Hastings. But and then I saw that for like less than $1, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's coming home with me. I don't have any money to spend, but I can scrounge in my pocket 90-something cents.
Start digging in the back seat of your car. Like, is there any spare change under this seat?
If there's a will, there's a way.
It was a beautiful CD, man.
Man, now I want to listen to that now. Because we saw Lamb of God live.
Yeah.
I want to know how it compares.
Right. Oh, I can tell you it's nowhere as good. But it was pretty awesome. Just like the idea, like I'm saying, original kind of sound. That was definitely original. No.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But the quartets we've been listening to of covering bands, oh my God.
We heard the Section Quartet.
Yes, that's my favorite.
What was it we listened to today? Juicebox by The Strokes.
Yeah, that was Section Quartet.
No One Knows by Queens of the Stone Age.
Right.
There was like a Radiohead song somewhere in there.
There were two. Paranoid Android.
Correct.
And My Iron Lung.
Correct. And every time that we listened to it, it's like, well, I think it was when we were listening to The Man Who Sold the World by David Bowie.
Right.
Like, it was the same thing. Like, I heard I could hear David Bowie in my head, you know, singing it the whole time, but it was like I was able to put his voice with that music that was being just smash them together to create like the most beautiful, perfect song of all time. And I don't know, man. Like listening to this stuff, it's kind of like just drop the guitar rock band shit. Like let's just bring it back. Right. You know, bring back some quartets.
Yeah.
But that puts me out of a job. Cool. That definitely puts me out of a job. I got to learn how to play fucking cello now.
Yeah.
At 26.
I actually have 2 violins that need serious repairing.
I know where to send you. I can tell you where to go. Yeah.
I've got like $10 to spend.
I'm sure he'll
How far can they get you?
Glance at it and go $10.
If I tried learning one of those instruments nowadays, I'm sure I would just like stop and just want to take a nap like after every try. I don't know. I don't think I could do it.
I think that you can.
Do you think I can do it, Alexys?
You can do
I think anything. You can.
If you think I can do it, I think I can do it too.
I tried drums when I was like 10 years old, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I give up. There's no way. And so if you can do what I can't do, then of course you can do the cello.
All right.
Are you saying that if I believe in myself?
Terrible. Also, another group that I found called Two Cellos. You heard of them?
Yes, I have. I
they
forgot
did-
to put those on the list.
They
My
did a
bad.
pretty good cover of Coldplay's Clocks.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Who else did I find that out? Oh, there's a Vitamin String Quartet, which I think is someone that we listened to, and then really weird one, the Jingle Punks Hipster Quartet.
That was cool.
How did they come up with these names?
You know,
I
I mean, I think the name says it all, hipster. So
Probably.
I like that.
That should explain it, yeah.
That's pretty nice. I actually listened to them before they were famous.
Did you know?
No.
Okay.
He's just trying to be cool.
He's trying to be cool. Like, you don't have the right glasses to do that. You need the thick framed ones.
See, I was going for the thick framed ones.
Yeah, but I already have those.
I was going to ask where
Right,
yours
yeah.
were.
I just don't want to wear them because I'm too cool for them. It's like
You're too hipster to be hipster.
exactly. No, I sometimes they just hurt too much, so I don't want to deal with that pain in my life right now.
I see.
Right.
That's why I eat these cookies to even
That's
it out.
right.
But yeah, like bands that are groups that are covering songs with their using their stringed instruments. There's part of me that's like really interested in that, but in the same sense, there's part of me that's just like, why don't you use your talents for like something like a little bit more
Original.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
your own music. And that's one of the things, like, that's what I like about Apocalyptica. They started off originally by covering Metallica, and that's how they got discovered.
Yeah.
Oh, is that better?
Oh my god, that is so better.
Wow.
Makes a world of difference.
Okay, then.
We went like 40
Bad.
minutes into the show.
Nobody could hear you.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll just be like the ghost in the background in the first 40 minutes.
Great.
Just kind of like whispering.
That's why I was saying talk louder.
Well, my bad.
Anyways. Yeah, you were saying Apocalyptica, they started as like a Metallica cover band.
Yeah, they were a Metallica cover band, and they were doing parties. They actually went to like the, I guess you would say the Juilliard of Europe. The Helsinki school over there is like Juilliard, but not just for the United States, but for all of Europe. And I think that's where the majority of them met together and got together and started the band, and that's how they started off.
Where are they from? Like Switzerland?
Finland.
Finland?
Yeah.
Finland, Switzerland, same shit.
Yeah,
they're
close
Finnish.
enough.
Like him.
Is him Finnish?
Him is Finnish.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him.
His Infernal
What
Majesty.
else? Sorry. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and dive into it. We saw them. We saw Apocalyptica in 2008. We were still in high school, and we went to
That's
a
right.
show. And it was... I had never heard of them before. And you were like, you want to go to a show? And I was like, of course I'll go to a show with you, Alexis. So we went to Warehouse Live in Houston. And we got front row.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we sure did. And
That's awesome. I've actually never been to Warehouse Live.
oh man,
Out of
It's
all
really
the
blown up,
concerts
yeah.
I've seen in Houston, not once have I been to Warehouse Live.
probably I've always said it was my favorite venue. I say that because that was the first time I ever went there was with you, and for some reason I just really loved it.
I get the feeling that it's a lot like the Meridian. Did you guys ever go there?
Yeah, a little bit,
Smaller, bigger?
a little bit bigger, a little bit cleaner.
Oh,
It's a little bit, yeah.
well, I would
Meridian,
hope so.
Meridian was about the bottom of the barrel, I
Right.
think.
No, it was not the bottom. I've seen the bottom of the barrel, man.
I'll trust
They
you
were-
on that
they
one.
were
I believe
close.
you.
Yeah, I've been to some dirty plate. No, I'm just kidding.
Alrighty then. Anybody
Um,
got any Clorox wipes after that comment? No.
But like I said, never heard of that band before. Never listened to a song or seen anything by them. And we went, and all you told me was that it's like a band, but they have cellos. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. We get there, and
I like grab you whenever they open up the doors, and I'm like,
oh
let's
yeah,
go, we gotta get to the
went for it. We
front.
fucking ran to the
And they're
to
like,
the-
don't run, and I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Don't run, I can't keep up.
uh,
I don't have your energy, Alexis.
and they came out, and there's like the long blonde-haired one who looks just like the dude from Apocalyptica. What's his name?
You mean,
I was about to
Not
say,
Apocalyptica, Metalocalypse.
Right.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see where I got
yeah.
that? I fucked
yeah.
up.
He was the one with the real weird name.
Squizguard or some shit.
Swissguard. Yeah.
And his name is still weird. It's Ica.
Okay.
Eicca.
I'm sure that Death Clock is from Finland too.
Probably. But, so yeah, there's the guy with the long blonde hair. There's the guy with the long black hair with the crazy goatee. There's the guy with the short, kind of like mohawkish thing who looks the most normal. Was that it? Was there a fourth one?
There's a fourth one, but
like
he's
a quiet
usually
guy.
really quiet.
Yeah.
Like, he usually wears, like, sunglasses and sits off to the side. And now they've got somebody, but they're always kind of off to the side. Now I think it's just the three of them.
Yeah,
I think it's down to the three of them and a drummer.
Okay. Oh, yeah, and then they come out with the drummer, the short blonde hair dude.
Right.
Bony
So
as
do they
fuck.
have a guitar player?
No.
Absolutely
It's all
not.
cello. All cello and drums, that's it.
Exactly.
Wow.
That was what really like blew me away whenever I saw them. It was like there's it's no guitar. Like everything that I'm hearing is just straight cello, and the drummer is really great. I think he's a fantastic drummer. He's not too crazy metal or whatever, but he does enough to kind of pick up for the fact that there are no amps. Like there's no like heavy distortion, like
Right.
to keep the energy of the song. And then this was what I loved the most about that show. So like they would start off, playing their songs off the album, and then the blonde-haired guy or whoever is like, and I'm gonna do a terrible accent, but he was like, okay, so now we're gonna do traditional cello songs. That sounds kind of Chinese, but anyway, we're gonna do some traditional music now. So they sit down in their thrones, which is weird that they had thrones, like the chairs.
Their chairs are like cello shaped, but with skulls inside of them.
It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
So then they start playing this beautiful cello, no drums, just like straight cello music, and there's like thousands of people in this venue just sort of like listening to it, right? And then they hit the last note, and then it ends, and then you just see 1,000 people be like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, I was like, I didn't know you guys were hardcore about this shit. Like, this was like completely unknown to me at the time. I'm used to hearing that after like the rock anthems and like the heavy duty songs, metal dudes, "Fuck yeah, dude," But he just played like, na 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 na.
Yeah, because they don't sit the whole time. They walk around with their cellos and they play
Yeah.
with them. They have like extra long pegs on the end of their cellos so that they can stand up and play.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty interesting, the fact that their shows consist of going from like real heavy, playing the hits, and they take a few moments out of their show to just play some chill, cello music. Really appreciated that. And then of course they had like a singer dude come out to sing to the songs.
I wasn't impressed with him though.
No, I wanted to say he was like some like local dude.
Pretty much, because it's like if they can't find the right singer, they won't actually record the song.
Right.
So, and if you notice like that record that they had released then, they've
Worlds
released some.
Collide?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they had like 3 or 4 different singers on there.
They had Corey Taylor,
Adam Gontier from
3 Days Grace.
3 Days Grace, yeah.
I think they had one track with a female from I think it was Lacuna Coil.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name.
Me neither.
And then on their second from the most recent album that they've released since then, because this has been almost 10 years now for us. So, and we're almost 10 years to the day, because it was May 10th when we went. And
Are you
it's going to be
serious?
May 9th this year. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it sure is. So it'll be
But
like
it's
8 years
8
to the
years.
day.
Yeah, 8 years to the day. Still close though. Yeah.
Close enough.
We'll see them in 2 years from now. That
Yeah.
way we can be like, okay, 10 years from that to that. This is like that midway.
Yeah.
This is to make up for all the times that I missed you saying, "Hey, Apocalypse is going to be in Houston. You should
You
come
mean
down."
that one year where I actually bought your ticket and you still couldn't make it?
Yeah.
Women always be remembering shit.
Right.
Dates.
Yeah. There's probably a date that I missed, so I feel sorry for that one too. No, I'm just kidding. But going back to the show, so the show finishes, and then we go to the side, and we're pretty much just waiting right next to the bus. And this was like the first opportunity that I would ever have to like meet like a band after a show. I think at that time I'd only been to like maybe 2 other shows, and they were at like really big venues, so there's probably no chance in hell. Like probably one, I think, yeah, they were probably one was at the Toyota Center, and then one was at the Pavilion.
Well, and the thing that's crazy about them is over in Europe, they play things that are like the size of the Toyota Center where there's 20,000 people, and they sell those out like days in a row.
Yeah.
And here they sell places like House of Blues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's why I like small venues.
Yeah. And I always wanted to play at Warehouse Live. Hopefully one day I can. But for that fact that it's a smaller, more intimate kind of place that you go to. I mean, you go to the big stadiums. It's just like you get stuck in the nosebleeds, and it's just like, why did I even bother? But anyways, so we got to meet them.
Yes, we did.
We met the band afterwards, and I think I didn't get to meet the guy with the long black hair. What's his name?
I did, because he was surrounded by girls. Girls love him.
Yeah. I met the short-haired guy, and I took a pretty cool picture with him. I met the drummer. His eyes was closed. And,
We'll fix that this year.
Yeah. And then I met the long blonde-haired dude. He was
the last one.
Yeah,
we were walking away, and what happened? Yeah, we were walking away, and he turned around and he said he noticed you, remember?
Oh, well, shit, okay.
I was trying to let you go with it, and you
yeah.
just stared at me.
Anyways, so I met him, okay, and I'm talking to him, doing the whole, oh, you're a fantastic musician. I loved your show or whatever.
You were fangirling.
I was definitely fangirling. I said that to all of them, though. Not to take anything away from it, because I meant all of it, but I said it to him, and he goes, yeah, I saw you in the front, and I saw you rocking out, man. It was awesome. Because I was like, I had long hair then, so I was like headbanging like crazy when they were playing Metallica songs.
Awesome.
So he was like, yeah, I saw you in the front row. It was awesome.
He loved your energy. I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
Nice energy.
Yeah.
I don't know what this accent is. Like.
Mine's kind of Chinese. Yours is
Chinese.
Yours was like a Chinese Arnold Schwarzenegger there for a second.
Go to the chopper. That's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Not a tumor. No, that went kind of Christopher Walken on that one. It's crazy. I could go all day. Anyways, so as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my god, he noticed me. And then we ran up. I remember we ran to the car.
Did you frolic away?
No,
I did.
She was in disbelief. She's like, oh my god, we just met them. And we're like skipping as we go to the car, pretty much. And all I can remember, the only thing I was thinking was, damn, that blonde-haired dude smelled good. And she's all like, oh my god, I can't believe we just met them. It's like, I gave him a legit hug. Dude smelled like fucking babies.
Now, was this your first gay moment?
Probably. But I kind of was feeling the vibe from him first.
Yeah.
So I was just going with it.
I'm not gay, but you can do whatever you want.
I sure hope that they did shower. I mean, for as long as we had to wait out there. We waited for a long time out there.
We definitely were waiting a long time. And I remember seeing...
Worth it, though, it seems.
Yeah, it was... No, for...
Oh, yeah.
It was worth it for more than one reason. It was worth it because that was, like, a really, like, strong, like, bonding, friendship building moment for us.
That's cool.
And it was also fun just for the fact that it was a really cool, fun band with the crazy concept of cellos and drums,
right.
and rock songs and rock music. Like those dudes are metalheads, like straight, like they do the fucking windmill with their hair while they're doing the cello, and that's fucking crazy. No, and I just love the fact that they were playing like Fade to Black, and they were playing like all these my favorite Metallica songs.
Oh, I know.
And I remember like whenever I realized that was what they were doing. Like, then I was, like, fangirling, like, oh, my God, they're doing Fade to Black. Right. And,
as long as they didn't do Saint Anger, what would that sound like?
No, they weren't doing anything off of that.
They cover a couple of other bands, and I can't think of them off the top of my head.
I always knew them as the Metallica cover band. I don't remember who else they would ever cover.
Yeah, I'd have to...
They did a show with Metallica. They did, like, some, like... Because there was some...
What? And I don't know this?
It was, like...
I wonder if Metallica covered some of their songs.
Probably. I don't know. They don't do that shit. Lars can't play that shit. No. It was, like, some kind of anniversary show. Because they brought back in Jason, the bass player that left.
Right.
After in the Black Album. They brought him back, and they did some shows together. And I think they did was it 4-Leaf Clover?
Yeah.
They did that song.
Man, I love that song.
Apocalypse came out, and they were doing the string part.
I think it was No Leaf Clover.
No Leaf Clover, yeah. They were doing the string part.
That's beautiful.
And you could tell, like, they were just so happy to be on stage.
That was on that S&M album,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They were so happy to be on stage with, like, their idols, like, that was so cool. That was so humbling to see, like that band, because I don't know how many, like we say like they sell out like a lot of shows or whatever, but I still don't really know like how well known like this band is.
Apocalyptica?
Yeah.
Over in Europe, they're huge.
I bet.
Because they like more of the metal and rock and stuff over there, more so than we do here in America, where we're like, oh my god, pop music, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Or country.
Country,
I
yeah.
hope they
I don't know
have
what's
country in Europe, man.
Oh, maybe in Ireland they got some kind of weird folky country music going on.
Folk is a little different than country, in my opinion. No, I can respect folk a little bit more for some reason.
This leads me to wonder. We have to do the research on this one. Do they have like French country music?
French country music.
That's probably the most god awful.
That's going to be our next showcase special.
We'll come back to that one.
I'm going to hold you to it. I want to hear that one.
I know they have country land in French.
Of course.
French, the place French.
Yeah.
And, I've had the food.
French fries and
no,
French toast.
Very country French
cream.
food though is terrible. Like
I've
of
heard
it's
it's
goat
nasty.
cheese and like I had a
escargot.
salad. I had a salad with a ball of goat cheese, and it was warm.
Oh man!
I was done eating. I think it had like 4 leaves on the salad. Like it was bad.
Anyways, kind of what you were diving into as far as like your Europeans being a little bit more into metal.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed in one of the artists that you sent me, actually 2
was
maybe.
Straight up German.
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting into?
Coppelius,
yeah.
something like that. It almost reminded me of Rammstein. Like it had like the low Germany kind of like voice to it, and then
cool,
like like very like chunky riffs or whatever going on, and the cellos or strings were doing like kind of going with that.
Yeah.
And then there was this other band that I found called Epica. I don't know if you've ever you've heard of them.
Well, on the Pandora. See, whenever I first figured out we were going to do this one, I just typed in Apocalyptica onto a new Pandora search, and it played everything that it sought to be somewhat like Apocalyptica, and Epica was one of those, along with the Section Quartet.
Okay.
And when I was listening to Epica, it was... I wrote it down on my notebook, and I just wrote to the side of it that it was metal as fuck, because it was like very...
Is it metal as fuck?
But like very like
is it like that technical metal with the drums?
No. It's very like a lighter side of like Cradle almost. Like,
oh man, I want to listen to it.
It's kind of weird. It's dark and it's very like and you know.
Does Cradle of Filth fall into this category of what we're doing today? Because I really like that band.
Do they have strings in them?
I think it's actually technically all synthesizer.
Yeah, I was like, if you're having to think about it, then.
Right.
Real quick, and I don't mean to boast your ego at all, but I remember one time I heard this song. I don't remember who it was by, but the song was called like Furious Angels or something. I think it was by Rob Sturgis, something like that. He does like electronic music, but he did this song. It had drums and some strings, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is dope!" And like we were in college at the time, and I went over to your dorm and I played it for you, and then you're like, "Those aren't real cellos. That's all synthesizer." And I was like, "Holy fuck! How do you know this?"
I can just hear it.
Yeah,
I couldn't. It's terrible.
Shows where I was.
I'm actually working on a song that's got strings in it, but it's synthesizer. It's got that.
Do it justice, man. Do it justice.
I can't do that. But yeah, man. Because right now I am kind of digging that whole quartet sound and stuff like that. But I'm too lazy to be an artist in that field. It's much easier to play synthesizer, really.
It adds like a fullness to the music when you have something in there. It's just it's kind of like whenever you're cooking, you got like all your basics in there, and then you throw in a little bit of like basil or something. You're like, holy shit! Or cilantro.
Oh
man!
She said that because she looked at me, saw that I was Mexican, and that I would relate to that. It's like, yeah, you put some cilantro and some tacos there. You put some cilantro and some onions and some pico de gallo. Jinx, show me a Coke. Fuck you. Yeah. Exactly. But kind of what you're saying about how
I do the same thing. It's cool.
Yeah. How you're saying how it gives some fullness to it. There's Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
which is funny whenever you said that to me, like that's a video game, and I was thinking, is she trying to get me to play a video game? But I listened to that, and like there's one song in particular where it sounds like it starts off with kind of like some guitars, and then the cello comes in like later on, and I was like, that's what the fucking thing needed. Like, it just needed a little bit extra.
Another element.
They're kind of different. They've got, like, an electronica sound
Yeah.
kind of going on, and then they've got the cello in there. They were just kind of somebody that I threw into the list because I was like, they just kind of sound different. They're maybe not my favorite on the list, but
right.
I just like
that's what I like, though, personally. I do like the electronic sound, and so whenever we're talking about something that is so very organic, like these stringed instruments, to have them mixed like that is pretty fucking awesome. I think that's why I like that Rasputina song.
Yeah, and the other day, I was just trying to look for more artists to listen to. I'm not kidding at all with the name of this group. It's called Nuttin' But Strings.
Yes, I realized after I sent you this list that
Nuttin' is what I'm saying.
You know, I get what you're saying,
But strings,
but I'm ignoring you. Ignoring you and your hand gestures.
Nuttin' butter. Nuttin' butter.
So, we listened to it, and they have some strings, but then they kind of come up with like, he was thinking like it kind of started off like a marching kind of like drum thing going on, but it kind of led into a rhythm and had very much like a hip hop vibe to it.
Yeah,
and you had said that
I said that's a hip hop band,
but not just that, but it's like you can put the cello into any kind of music and it kind of like finds its own way. Like you could put it with like a hip hop beat and it sounds good. You could put it with like a rock song and it sounds great. You can have it just on its own, it sounds good. You can turn it into, you can add it with electronic music and it sounds good. You know, it's kind of like a universal instrument. You can put it in any.
Well, and that's what I liked about the cello is that, especially like whenever I was playing it, is that it's got so many, you can make it sound like really sad and depressing, or you can make it like really upbeat. It has so many different tones to it that it can reach all the spectrum, whereas like to me the violin kind of is just its own. It's constantly high pitched in my opinion, but the viola is really versatile too. I really like the viola as well.
And that was something that
what is a viola? Because this is
do you know who the Flowbots are?
I've heard of them.
The what is it? The Handlebars song. I can ride my bike with no handlebars.
Yes.
That's a viola in their music, and it's awesome. It's a little bit lower tone than. See, it's the mic has something against me. That's what it is.
I need
it's
to
not
tighten
me.
it.
Yeah.
Just hold on to it. No. But it's a little bit more of a deeper tone.
Right.
It's a little bit larger, I want to say, than a violin.
Right.
But you play it on your shoulder like a violin also.
Okay. Like a fiddle?
Kind of. But it's not a fiddle.
What's the difference between a violin and a fiddle? And
I
when
don't
is
remember.
country music going to take over the cello? Because that would be interesting. And what would they call it?
Cello?
The cello. Know how to play them.
I'm about to throw my headphones
Steel
off.
guitar
I'm done.
and the cello.
No, I'm kidding.
What I was trying to get at before, whenever I was saying like it's universal, like whenever I listened to Epica and it had very much like that European metal kind of feel to it, and then I listened to Final Fantasy. There's a song in particular called "Your Light Is" what is it? "Your Light Is Spent."
Mm-hmm.
It was really beautiful. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's crazy to me that they both have the same instrument in them, but the way that you use it, you get a different outcome with it. And I guess that's every instrument, but you think of the cello, you see the cello, you think that you're going to get something out of it. You're going to get the beautiful music, whatever, but then you find a way to turn it. It's kind of like whenever like you tap on it, you can create a percussion sound. You hit the higher notes. You get like the buzzy zzz kind of sound.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you do so much more with it than I think people understand. That's what I think is cool about that instrument. I don't know if you agree.
I would agree. Cool. Yeah.
So, I would like to take this opportunity to go into our first segment of the show where I play my song that I chose.
All right, what are we doing?
It's this artist that I found. If you just give me 1 second to find the name. I'm sorry to take up your time. Okay. The artist, real hardcore name, Cello Fury. Right?
Whoa,
it's kind of hardcore, right? These guys are some like furious dudes.
Yeah.
And the song by Cello Fury, The Fury.
All right, here we go. pretty.
I think so too.
Very pretty.
It was. I think the drums really sold it for me. I'm not just saying
It was good drums.
because I'm a drummer. I'm not just saying that. But the drums were like so unpredictable with like their rhythms, like with the tom work that they were doing.
Right.
It was just sort of like a ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
It was getting a little bit more tastier as the song progressed, and then just the fact that the cellos were doing such a flowing pattern, it made you want to move with it, and that's the kind of music that I really love, where it can take control of you physically, almost like a hand, like just going for your spirit. I'm not to scare you, and just sort of like moving you around, like
Kind of looks like you want to strangle
like
him.
that.
I'm just saying.
Shit, man.
It's the dark arts. Anyways, so yeah, that was my song, Cello Fury, The Fury. Alexis, I should have been a fucking gentleman and let the lady go first.
Yeah, man. What are you thinking?
Why did I have to fuck it up?
And I'm too far into it. 10 years into a friendship, 12 years into
Right,
a friendship.
we're
I'm
pretty much
stuck.
just-
Yeah.
Your bullshit's my bullshit, my bullshit's your bullshit. We get it. Anyways, what song would you like to share with us today?
In honor of us about to going to see Apocalyptica, and it's on their new album, I'm going to do Cold Blood by Apocalyptica on their new Shadowmaker album.
Awesome.
All right, here we go.
Ignorance breeds fear, breeds hate, breeds violence. Everything falls down and breaks in silence. We could forgive and then forget and start over. We could finally try stone cold sober. No more dark clouds over the horizon. We killed it in cold blood, did it for so long. God rest our soul. Until there was no love, till it was all gone, nothing to roll. We killed it in cold blood. Loneliness is the curse of the broken hearted. I came undone and you just fell apart. Maybe some distance can heal us both now. We had no words but we lost it somehow. Maybe the dark clouds are finally behind us. We killed it in cold blood, did it for so long. God rest our soul. Until there was no love, till it was all gone, nothing to roll. We killed it in cold blood. Ignorance breeds hate, breeds violence. Everything breaks down in silence. Your ignorance breeds hate, breeds violence. Everything breaks down in silence. We killed it in cold blood, did it for so long. God rest our soul. Until there was no love, till it was all gone, nothing to roll. We killed it in cold blood, did it for so long. God rest our soul. Until there was no love, till it was all gone, nothing to roll. We killed it in cold blood. We killed it in cold blood.
So, I really enjoyed the song. I think I heard that one before, but I still enjoyed it. And I'd asked you, like, there's a certain sound that they're making in the song.
The really high-pitched sound.
High-pitched sound, and it's something I never heard before. And knowing that it's supposed to be all cellos,
You were questioning me.
I was like, no, I was using you as like, be my guide. Tell me what that is.
Okay. I thought you were doubting me for a moment.
And you were telling me that song is actually a harmonic, which I forget you can do that on the cello. You can do that.
You can't do that?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I should have brought my cello and shown you guys.
really
Why
should've.
did you not?
I didn't think of it until just this moment. I'm so sorry.
This is the conversation.
And I just had strings and my bow redone and everything.
We legitimately wouldn't even play these songs. We would have just had you perform.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry your ears would be bleeding.
So we
I'm out of
saved you,
practice.
listeners.
We saved you all. We're not the heroes you deserve. Or what is it?
We're not the heroes you want. We're the ones you need or the deserve.
Some shit. Some Batman
I don't know.
shit. I don't know.
I love Batman.
Yeah. But no, that was actually a really, really great song. Is that
album.
Is that the single off that album, or?
It's one of their singles, yeah. The title track, Shadowmaker. You know, they've got a lot of great songs on the album, but I like that one better than the Shadowmaker.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
And
there
I know.
any reason why? Or?
I don't know. It just speaks to me more, you know, whereas, you know, Shadowmaker may speak to you more. You know?
Seeing as this is really, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but the only time I really enjoy this band is whenever like you're involved. Like, I don't really listen to it much in my spare time. So like whenever it's like we have like these conversations about it, it's like, oh okay, I'll get back into listening to Apocalyptica again. But if we don't talk about them for a while, I just like. So anytime I listen to them, it really is genuine for the first time experiencing it, and yeah, I'm trying to go somewhere with that. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Johnny, just what song are you going to go, Johnny?
All right, well, before I go into that, I've got some honorable mentions.
Okay. Oh, shit. I have an honorable mention.
Whoa.
What's yours?
Whoa, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just interrupt.
Just kind of, tell me, go ahead, what was so important?
I'm sorry, John, but I didn't think about that.
What's your honorable mention, man? Go ahead, dude.
Mine was Lux Eterna.
What's that?
Lux Eterna. It's off of the movie Requiem for a Dream, off the soundtrack. It's like the main song. Have you ever heard the song before?
There's like 10 versions on that soundtrack.
Alexys, have you ever heard Lux Eterna before?
No.
We'll play it later. We don't have to do it on the show. Really beautiful song, though. That was close to being my song, but
I learned how to play it on guitar.
It's pretty beautiful
nice.
stuff. Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
It's kind of depressing, though.
Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
No.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I feel like I'm about to be kicked
No,
out the door.
we don't got to go into that movie.
Gonna learn today.
No. No, we don't got to go into that one.
Honorable mentions. Okay. First, I want to go with Bleed from Stained. Okay, I know that that's not exactly in this field, but the violins on that song, and actually it's not Stained, sorry. It's Cold, and Aaron Lewis from Stained
really
is playing and
this.
singing with them. Beautiful song, but the best part about the song, not only are the lyrics amazing, the violins in that background they just make the song, they give you goosebumps.
Oh, wow.
The hair stands up. I also want to say Rasputina's Tourniquet, which we talked about earlier. I was going to go with a song, and I'm going to go with a different one. I was going to go with two cellos, Hysteria.
The Muse song?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was. The music video is why I'm mentioning why I even have honorable mentions. The music video, you guys should all watch because it's phenomenal. It's awesome.
Googling that now.
You should. Your phone should be turned off because we're doing a podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I've been texting this whole time. Should I notice it?
But what I'm going to go with is the Section Quartet.
Okay.
And they have a cover. Juice Box.
Sweet. beginning to think that I like this version a lot more than the Strokes version.
I really like this one.
And I'm a legit Strokes fan.
Right.
Whenever I saw that this was one of the songs that they cover, because we went into it before, they cover a lot of songs. Whenever I saw that they did this song, I was really excited. I was just excited as this one as I was probably with...
Now, did I show you this one, or did you find it on your own?
I think I found it on my... I think you showed me that they did it, but I think I found the artist on my own. Maybe you found... I don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great song. I really enjoy. I like how the cello is really like keeping the rhythm of it all. It's pretty much doing what the bass does in the song, but
Yes.
don't.
Because it's technically a bass.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's keeping that it's keeping it on the deep end of the song and keeping the rhythm going. And I think to me that's what I hone into whenever I listen to it, especially whenever it goes into like I guess what is probably the chorus of the song.
I don't know.
Whenever it started, kind of goes for like a few seconds of like no, like it's doing like a rhythm, and you kind of hear it because it's on it being on the lower end.
Was it like a
yeah, that thing.
I love like that's Was that a bass or a cello? I think it was a bass, right? Stand-up bass.
No, that was cello.
That was a cello.
Yeah.
Get your facts straight, man.
I think that was my favorite part. That instrument itself, just that rolling riff,
Yeah.
was such a beautiful part of that song. Like the original of the song is pretty awesome, but this version is just so powerful. I mean, I think this is my favorite all strings track.
Mm-hmm.
I just dig it, man.
Cool. Yeah. So there's one thing I wanted to get into before we start to wrap it up. One thing I'm beginning to notice is I feel like stringed instruments are becoming a little bit more popular, or maybe a little bit more. I don't think they're cool, like the guitars, or whatever. Like I was saying before, I think they are cool. But I'm just saying
they're not that cool.
What people see it as.
Flips table walks out.
But I think you get a band like Apocalyptica, and then you get an artist like Lindsey Sterling, who we haven't talked about at all.
We didn't even talk about.
I know. I was waiting.
Yeah. You hear songs that she's doing, and with the people that she's collaborating with, and it's kind of going a little mainstream. You know what I mean? It's going from like the basements to like the the big show now.
It's about time.
Yeah, I'm all right with it because I really enjoy her music. I
very electronic for such a organic instrument.
Yeah. But I think that electronicness gives it its character to an already existing thing that she's doing.
It's damn near dubstep. If it's not a little bit isn't it a little dubstep? Like some of her stuff?
Dubsteppy.
It's got some wobbles.
Do they have
some wobbles?
It's got wobbles.
Do they got
Alexys.
Wow. Keep going. We wrote a dubstep song, guys.
We did. This is awesome.
Anyways,
that's where the big money is.
Do you feel what I'm saying though? Like it's becoming a little bit more in the spotlight with as far as like we're hearing it and kind of it being a little bit more accepted, I guess.
Well, it's kind of becoming like a band is incomplete if they don't have some form of string instrument.
Yeah.
Like it just because it adds something to it, and then they'll record a song and it's. Or it's rap. Yeah. They'll add something to it in the recording studio, and then they're not playing it with it live.
Yeah,
right.
I definitely know that in writing music nowadays, like we'll write a good song and it sounds great, but it still feels like it's just missing just a little something.
A little something,
and then we'll go into what we can do with it, and we'll add strings to it.
Right.
And it'll just turn into this more fucking amazing thing. And then we go in to write another song. It almost seems like, all right, now what can we do with the strings? What can we do to make it? Like it's like it's a natural thought. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this on the drums.
I think you guys need a cellist,
probably, or a little tiny orchestra right next to us. They could tour with us. We can just bunk up together.
Right.
Fun times, but yeah, I feel like that this style of music is. I mean, it's existed for like fucking 400 years as far as with symphonies and orchestras and everything like that, but I feel like it's kind of getting to be hip. It's kind of getting to be cool with this music to add little bit of strings in it and give it this brand new spectrum to the song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And well, it's for as much effort as you have to put into playing those, I mean, it's, fretless and you've got to be able to just hear it. And if you just move your finger just a little wrong, it totally ruins the tone. So or the note, and it just ruins,
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. I lost what I was going to say there. Did you see that?
I tried to save it, but now that you're
Epic
saying,
fail.
now that we're talking about it, we're just kind of just.
It's
making
awkward.
it
You
worse.
just got to face it head on
But
and
we're
just
still
say.
talking about it. And we're just getting worse and worse.
Okay, Nico. Continue.
Anyways, also in keeping up with that, it's getting a little bit more cool or hip or whatever. There was this movie that came out a couple years back called The Soloist.
Yes.
You've seen this movie?
Yes. I don't remember a whole lot, but I do remember.
Okay,
it,
well, let me break it down for you. Okay. So Robert Downey Jr. is this dude, okay, and then Jamie
He's a
Foxx
dude?
is this other dude, okay. And then
Okay.
they do this thing, and then it results into a much more positive thing from the previous negative thing that it was.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much that's the entire movie. No, Jamie Foxx plays a homeless guy, right?
Right.
Who's like this like musical genius, but like somewhere along the lines he went crazy,
Right.
and he's a bum. He's on the side of the streets. And I think he has a violin or some instrument with him, and he's playing on the street, And this guy hears him, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is," because he's like a master behind his instrument, right? And he's like, I want to write an article on this bum that's playing Beethoven in the streets.
Right.
So he goes to find him to be like, "Hey, I was wondering if I could write an article on you," but the dude is just fucking crazy. Jamie Foxx is just fucking crazy. Like, he's just talking, like, so random nonsense. He sees, like, an airplane fly by. It's like, "Hey, are you flying that plane right now?" Like, he's just not at all there in his head.
There, yeah.
And Robert Downey's sort of like, what's up with this dude, So,
Such a good movie.
you've seen it?
Yeah.
The Soloist?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my God.
I think it was a fantastic movie. But if we're going to plug that movie, I want to go ahead and plug August Rush.
That was
Oh, man.
It was okay.
August Rush.
It was okay.
Man, I was crying like a baby.
It was
Yes.
It was nothing special.
No, okay. It was
I'm kidding. I
the
love that movie.
strings in the song. I don't know, the mother or whatever at the
Yeah.
end of the movie, whenever she was playing the music, and the guy was playing the music at the same time or whatever. And I don't know, man. Just all the feeling of the instruments. Like, if you watch that movie without the music, it would be a shitty movie.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
with all the music that went with it, like, it was such a strong movie. Oh my God.
Something about the power of music,
Exactly.
That's
Hence why
proof.
we're
That
here.
movie is proof.
There is a scene in The Soloist. Now that I know that you've seen it, you feel what I'm going to say. Whenever
I haven't seen it. I'm just kidding.
whenever Robert Downey takes Jamie Foxx to go see the symphony playing,
Right.
like it's like a real empty room, and it's just the two of them watching the symphony play Beethoven. And Jamie Foxx, he does what any one of us would do while listening to music. Okay, he doesn't really like show much expression. He's just locked.
Right.
Like, his eyes are just wide open. He's just like like the music has taken him at this point, right?
Right.
And then it goes into this scene where it's just a bunch of like colors, like literal
Right.
like just colors, just sort of like just flying all over the place to the music.
Right.
Right.
And when I saw that, I was like, this has to be the closest thing. Hold on, this has to be like the closest definition of what's going on in our heads when we listen to music. Not just like symphony music, but just music in general. What music does to you, whenever the electrons are sparking and it's
Right.
just making you feel it. But seeing like these colors just like go all over the place, I was like, there's never been anything that I've ever seen in my life that came even close to describing what it feels like whenever I listen to music. And even though that's a hard thing to say because there's no thing possible to describe
Right.
how you feel
No,
whenever you
yeah.
feel music. It's
another dimension.
Exactly.
It's-
But when I saw that, and at least that scene in general, it's like, this movie's doing something I've never seen anybody do. They're at least capturing that moment. They're capturing
Right.
That
what...
something happens to us when
Yeah,
we
exactly.
listen to it. Yeah.
And then the song ends, or I don't even think the song ends, but like he just goes, "Wow," and then Robert Downey's like, "What?" And he goes, "Beethoven is in the room." Like, like he's just like,
Yeah.
he was stuck in that moment. He was like it was almost like he forgot everything that he was in, and he was back to being normal again, and he was back to where he used to be, and he felt the music again.
I think that the movie really describes like how autism is, and I know that he was crazy in the movie or whatever, probably not autistic, but there are definitely kids in the world that are autistic. They can't factor in truth. They can't understand what they're saying. They're just repeating, and severe autism at that. But they can play the piano like you couldn't even fucking imagine. Like insane stuff. But like they can ask them simple questions, and they may answer it correctly and they may not. It's just whatever, you know. They're on some sort of pattern. You know, they're on some sort of, you know, psychological, you know, like they're just it's just a difference altogether of how we think.
Right.
It's impossible to say they think any better or worse than us, because they can do some amazing things, you know, on different, you know, obviously they're not all great piano players. I'm just saying, you know, it's
They're on a different level.
They're just on a different level, and the best way to describe it, at least I think there's a book called Thinking in Pictures. And it's about Temple Grandin, who is an autistic girl who had some issues. She ended up being one of the world's greatest engineers. She's the one who she's still like talking, you know, to like people at like rallies and stuff like that, or different sorts of events, you know, or schools and stuff. And she'll just talk about, like, you know, how she overcame certain things, or how she just generally thinks differently. And you can tell that there's something, you know, missing from the way that she speaks versus everybody else. But she was the one who created, you know, the way that livestock run around in like a circle, you know, to get to where they're going. Like, she was the one who pictured that, because she was like, look, right now the way things are going on, you know, the livestock are scared, so they're, you know, they're being injured, you know, they don't know where to go. If you force them to go into a certain direction, they'll work a lot better. And I mean, it's just one of those things, like, there's always so many dimensions on especially with like music, to see the kids, you know, like just like, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, because that movie that you were talking about, the soloist.
I'm wondering, where the fuck are you going with this?
It has really nothing to do with the strings, but I'm just saying, man.
No, I agree with you, and I'd love to get your opinion on this. Like, music has always been used as a tool to take you somewhere, and like I said before, I really think that the strings can kind of take it to a completely different place. I don't know if it's just something, if it's a vibration that our brains just aren't like used to, and then when we hear it, it's just sort of like totally stimulated or something like that, or if we're just so used to
mathematics,
or we're so used to just what garbage we hear on the radio that as soon as we hear something that's as pure as a string instrument, we're just completely overwhelmed by it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like, what is it that you think? What is it about these certain instruments that you think is part of your
bring it on home?
Yeah, that bring it to that, take it to that place.
I don't know. I can say that I didn't like acoustic music before I actually started getting into the cello. I did not care for like acoustic guitar or anything, and now I can't get enough of it.
Right. Absolutely.
Or like, I wasn't as much like, maybe I liked that Metallica song or something or whatever, and then you hear it like covered by the strings, and you're like, whoa.
It's overwhelming.
I don't really know. It's just a very overwhelming, like you said, you just can't describe it. There's just something about it. It's like magic.
I think music in general is mathematics, and there's really all there is to it, and it seems so phenomenal to us based on how we're processing it, because it's deeper than we understand music. We just hear the output without completely understanding, you know, all the equations that are involved.
But I think, and I'm not sorry to interrupt you, but I think in the confusion and the questioning of it, that's what adds so much to it.
Absolutely, but also with the stringed instruments, which we're not really completely, you know, as accustomed to as much as pop music, you know, and that's a giant summary of music whenever I'm saying pop music. The music that our society has us listening to for the most part. And then we hear stringed music, which is kind of unnatural to us because we're not completely used to that. I think when you also factor in that everything's mathematics, and then you come in with that other dimension of things like the bow, you know what, as I was talking about earlier, you have a whole different dimension of mathematical equations on top of the mathematical equations you've already had, and that's kind of what makes it overwhelming and just so, I guess, magic to the senses.
I feel you, and I thought the exact same thing whenever I heard a song that had the glockenspiel being put into it. You know what I'm talking about, right? That glockenspiel, that bing, 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 bing. You know what I'm talking about?
I think that's a steel drum.
No. That's like a bowl.
Are you talking about like the xylophone kind of?
Xylophone thing, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I was like, what is he talking
A
about?
glockenspiel is a xylophone,
Oh.
to my knowledge. But yeah, let's take it back. Yeah, this is the first, like, I thought the same
So you're
thing,
talking
but-
about kindergarten is what you're talking about when they had us in music class going ding, 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 ding.
fucking with
I
my
can
shit
play.
right now.
I can play the Rugrats theme song on that motherfucker. I'm just saying.
Well, look at you.
I'm proud of myself.
Look
'cause
at
it
you,
sounds
fucking hard ass
so
right here.
badass, man. I'm just saying. If you guys ever get a chance, listen to my copy.
On my new demo coming out.
Rugrats theme song done by the xylophone from John Hightower.
Totally. So I guess in trying to wrap it up, do you still play the cello?
I actually just got my bow fixed this last year. I kind of had been so crazy since I graduated from college that I kind of let it collect a little bit of dust. So I'm kind of
Can
sad.
you use a violin bow on that? Or is it-
No.
Okay.
I mean, well, and the things between
don't
like
want
the
one
viola,
longer,
the
right?
violin, the cello,
Yeah.
yeah, they're all, different like widths and lengths and stuff
okay.
and different types of hair. Like even like the double bass has different types of hair, which
See, I thought
actually
they were all
Apocalyptic.
horsehair.
Yeah, but also different colors as well. Different colors are different coarseness.
Different colors, different sizes,
It sounds prejudiced.
different girths. Anyways, continue.
I like the girth of the violin bow.
I'm sorry, but so
I'm trying to keep it clean here, guys.
anyways,
This show is not clean. This is explicit.
so you're gonna try getting back into it, is what you were trying to say.
Yes, I've been talking to one of my friends about maybe getting me some just some refresher like lessons and stuff. For me, the hardest thing was always because I did think in numbers. It was
Right.
The music notes themselves, like A, B, C, D. I thought like I would think like finger numbers, like string numbers, and like that's how I did it in the different positions and stuff. And so I actually had a friend who was really helpful in that and helping me
Have you
be
ever
able to play that way.
Have you ever played your cello, just sort of totally on feel? Like you didn't like really like think about like the numbers or the notes. You just sort of like went into it.
Yeah, and it would get frustrating because I did, play so late in life, I guess you could say. Different sounds that I had or different thoughts that I had were guys are staring at me.
No,
I know we're trying to wrap it up, and I don't want to go into a big long thing.
No. I
But
feel-
basically, the notes and stuff that I wanted to hear, so I just tried to make myself play it.
Awesome. Well, I definitely can't wait to hear what you come out with, if you even do anything. I support you and your music, hands down. You've always been my favorite cello player, and I hope you know that for the rest of our friendship.
Oh, thank you.
But anyways, we got to wrap it up. We're running out of time. Alexys, thank you very much for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much.
One last clinky.
Thank you guys for having me.
Good night. Goodbye. Good luck. And cheers.